We're on.
Okay. Good evening, everyone. Welcome to the Wednesday, March 2nd, 2016 Newmarket Town Council meeting. We'll begin, as always, with the Pledge of Allegiance.
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
First time in a long time we don't have non-public minutes to seal. We will begin with the presentations. So we have a few presentations to make tonight. We are waiting on one individual to show up, so we will start with this one. We have a member of our town council, who this will be his last sitting town council meeting.
Don't say that.
Until he gets fired up and runs again in 2 years. So Larry Pickering has served, by my back of the envelope math here, 21 years in different capacities volunteering for this town.
Some people just don't get it.
That's 9 years on the town council, 10 years on the budget committee, not to include his time as town council representative on the budget committee, and 2 years on the efficiency committee. He's also
Moderator.
Moderator. 1 year as the
year.
moderator. I'm sorry, 22 years of service. He's also a member of the Historical Society since 1971. I won't tell you what age I was then, but it was in the negatives. And he is retired from PSNH as a utility worker in 2005. He's a devoted husband to his wife Susan, father to his daughter Ashley, and grandpa to his grandchildren. On a personal note, I recall the first year I was in the council with Larry, and we had to turn in our goals. I think Councilor Levy was the chair at that point in time. And, having been on the council a couple of years at that point, I'd seen a lot of goals and sort of wrote my goals the way I'd seen them written. And then I saw Councilor Pickering's goals, and they had to be the most detailed, like very specific about stuff going on in town. And I have to admit,
Unachievable.
Have we implemented any of them?
ambitious, but achievable. And Larry, I've just been so impressed with not just your wealth of knowledge with this town, but the commitment you obviously show to the town through your years and years of service. It is the council will not be the same without you on it. So thank you very much, Larry, for everything
Hold on a
you've done.
second.
So you get this clock. It's not a watch.
It's ticking. Uh-oh.
Ignore the wires coming out of it.
Thank you so
Larry,
much.
thank you so much for
Appreciate it.
everything.
Thank you so much.
Absolutely.
It's been awesome to be here with you guys. If I hadn't lost my memory, it'd probably been a lot better, but that was a joke.
Yeah, it's been an inspiring run, Larry. It has been an inspiring run.
We will move on to, should I read it down there, or should I read it?
Let's do it down there.
All right. Kathy Castle. Here?
Yeah, it's fine.
Chris, put on camera two, Chris.
Yeah.
Kathy, so first I'll read the dedication
Yes, go
to you here. There's a quote up front. In retirement, every day is boss day and every day is employee appreciation day. The year was 2000. The last original Peanuts comic strip appeared. Ray Bork was traded to the Colorado Avalanche. The fourth Harry Potter book was published. The first crew arrived at the space station, and most importantly, it was the year where, after accepting head coach position in the New York Jets, Bill Belichick resigned, and Kathy Castle started working in the town of Newmarket. The town council and Newmarket employees would like to congratulate Kathy Castle on her retirement. Kathy dedicated 15 years to the town of Newmarket and was an invaluable resource. Kathy has gained time off to spend with her family and to do the things she enjoys with all day to do them. The town, on the other hand, has lost a very committed, loyal, and to the core coworker with a ready smile, contagious laugh, and friendly manner. Kathy's office was the main artery of the town hall, where she touched the lives of her colleagues and worked tirelessly for the betterment of the town. We will miss her pleasant demeanor and, of course, her bottomless candy basket. We wish her the best in retirement.
Thank you very much.
Kathy, thank you so much for everything. I know that we all,
I need a
We
hug.
miss you so much. We love you. Thank you so much, Kathy.
I'm gonna shake it.
So you're in retirement, we'll be able to tell the difference?
Don't I look younger?
Congratulations.
Congratulations.
Enjoy.
It's not the same without you.
I miss everybody.
So we will hold on the last presentation until the presentee arrives. So we will open the public forum at 7:11. Anyone in the public want to say anything? Got a motley crew sitting here. We will close the public forum at hearing at 7:11. Forum, excuse me, at 7:11. She's. Oh, you're right. Councilor Thompson is excused. We will now accept, town council to consider acceptance of minutes. I will accept a motion on the February 17th, 2016 non-public minutes.
So moved.
Is there a second?
Second?
Is there discussion? Seeing none, Mr. Administrator, the vote.
Counselor Burns.
Aye.
Counselor Pickering.
Aye.
Counselor Pike.
Aye.
Counselor Weinstein.
Aye.
Counselor Levy.
Aye.
Counselor Nazaro.
Aye.
Motion passes 6-0.
Now accept a motion on the February 17th, 2016 regular meeting minutes.
So moved.
Is there a second?
Second.
Discussion.
I have to
Counselor Thompson here.
I had one thing, and it's, I just got to get there. It's not too serious, but it's on the, like, page 4 or 5, just one second. And,
Of the minutes or the 4 or 5 of the packet?
4 or 5 of the minutes. Just a sec. And it's not that serious, but I just wanted to make sure it was clear. This is talking about the dam, when I reported on the dam committee meeting, and it talks about the dam turning out to be controlling and restricted flow of 108, and it said that the bridge was only an issue if the dam was taken out. Actually, the part before that, I don't really remember what I was talking about, but the part that you're referring to, the bridge being an issue if the dam was taken out, what I was saying is, if I remember correctly, and I'm pretty sure I do, what I was saying is that even if the dam was taken out, the bridge would still result in flooding, so that removal of the dam would not prevent flooding at high water. And I'm not sure that anybody would deduce that from that statement, and that's what I was talking about at the time. The bridge restricts flow, so that even if the dam is removed, then you still have flooding. So I don't know that. I guess that's. I don't know if that's captured in what you say, but I wouldn't have gathered it from that sentence. So you might want to rewrite that a little bit.
You good?
Okay.
Any other edits? Seeing none, Mr. Administrator, the vote.
Counselor Burns.
Aye.
Counselor Pickering.
Aye.
Counselor Pike.
Aye.
Counselor Weinstein.
Aye.
Counselor Levy.
Aye.
Counselor Nazaro.
Aye.
Motion passes 5-0.
Report of the town administrator.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. 6-0, sorry.
Six.
I want to remind everyone that the town and school elections will be held on March 8th from 7 a.m. to 7 p.m. here at the town hall. We will need councilors to work that day, as well as have a majority on hand that evening to certify the vote. I should have a schedule out tomorrow of when everyone's available. As the council is aware, it was our intention to take possession of the property at 41 Exeter Road on February 23rd. On February 22nd, Judge Delker granted the Eagles a rehearing on the case. However, he ordered that no alcohol may be served on the premises. We made the Eagles aware and informed them that the Police and State Liquor Commission, of the situation. We have not had a report of the sale of alcohol at this time. A rehearing has been scheduled for tomorrow morning at 9 a.m., so we should have more information shortly. Councilor Pickering asked for a comparison of the Newmarket solid waste operations to Epping's operations. The town of Newmarket operates a curbside collection program as well as a bulky waste collection at our transfer station 3 days a week. The town of Epping operates a pure transfer station system in which residents must deliver their solid waste and recyclables to their transfer station. Their transfer station is open part-time as well, 3 days a week. I looked into actual expenditures for our two systems. We expended last year $441,323 for solid waste. Epping spent $352,033 according to their 2015 town report. So by expenses alone, with a population of 9,149, Newmarket spends $48.24 per person on solid waste, while Epping, with a population of 6,736, spends $52.26 per person. In addition, we offset our expenses with revenues from bags and other sources. Last fiscal year, we collected $234,210 in solid waste revenues, $157,946 from the sale of bags. Epping collected $162,474 in revenues. They do not have a paper bag system like we do, but they receive on $106,341 for hosting ERCO solid waste facility in their community. So without that hosting fee, they collected $56,132.84 in revenue. So while we have a more robust system with curbside, we're actually spending less money than Epping is with a transfer station. And the other concern I would have would be if we were to ever switch to a transfer station system, is getting people to actually bring their solid waste to the transfer station. And the loss of revenue if we were to get rid of the paper bag system at the same time. So I just wanted to, those are the figures of what the comparison is.
Steve, if they didn't bring it to the transfer station, to your point, that would be a concern. What else would they do with it? Just start throwing it in the backyard?
I worked in a community that we did not have solid waste disposal. It was up to them to determine how to get rid of their materials. Most people contracted with a company like Waste Management or another hauler, and they'd come through and do curbside on their own. Other than that, they would have to figure out whatever they need to do. And no, they couldn't legally dump it on their property. So they would have to typically contract with somebody.
So is Epping, are they storing their metals for better prices in the future?
They do, some. It's because they have somebody there, not full-time, but constantly watching the market. There's just no market right now either.
I know.
So, but they also have still basically an open landfill where they bury stuff.
Other questions on the solid waste? Do we have any numbers on their, how many are contracting out curbside? I'm sure you don't have.
I don't, no, because that's a,
Do they track that at all?
no.
Thank you.
Council Levy asked about the amendment for the zoning ordinance for elderly housing, if we would have it by the end of the fiscal year. I've talked to the town planner, and it's the planning board intention to do so. However, they would do this in conjunction with the update of the future land use chapter of the master plan. My understanding is that the future land use chapter subcommittee met last night, and they're still meeting to finalize the chapter. So it is their intention.
I think the issue, Steve, has been Stratford Regional, writing it, or, working on that. So, I mean, that, if you have time, that would be the question to ask. Is that feasible? Diane may want to just ask, is that going to happen, meaning the Stratford Regional? Because I think he's, the gentleman who's
Writing,
been
what are you talking about?
writing that chapter and finishing that chapter.
Well, we met yesterday.
Was he there?
He was.
Okay, and did he imply that, okay, so I didn't get that from this. Did he imply that he was going to be
They're shooting to have, the chapter was there, there were quite a few edits on the chapter, that's what we did yesterday afternoon. The chapter's going to be brought back, they're going to rewrite that and bring it back to the planning board in April, is our target to.
So that'll be after the election. So when you say there were several edits, were those edits that came from the EDC and the meetings that we've had, or were they edits that were edited from his changes to?
He had produced a draft document, and the committee members had more or less, they were not For the most part, they were just in how it was written, I would say stylistically almost, but that's where we are on that. But it is, I mean, there is a lot of what is in that document. I mean, it refers a lot to the,
Connery?
refers a lot to assisted living facilities. Those kind of changes that came out of the EDC process are reflected in that document.
Yeah, most of that came from Connery, so I'm assuming that that was integrated.
I think so. I came in a little bit after that, but that document is out there. I can.
Okay. That'd be nice if
that-
maybe you could just forward it.
Two things. One, the document available for public consumption,
Drafts aren't typically.
It's still in draft form.
but you can see it as the
If I can
alternate on
see
the
it
planning
drafted,
board.
Yeah.
right, just to see it.
The other question is, we don't vote on that, right? That's straight planning
No,
board.
that's planning board.
That's planning
Then it-
board.
Then it would.
I understand your investment because you're on the EDC.
Yeah. Well, I was
It-
just curious because
it-
it's
what-
been like 9 months.
Yeah, what the process is they want to get that land use chapter up first. That will be a vote. And if there's any changes to the ordinances from that land use chapter, they'll vote on that and then propose it to the council
Yeah. There are definitely stuff that's going to come to the council from
Yeah.
this process.
For the zoning,
for zoning.
just the zoning.
Just the zoning, not the master plan chapter.
Other questions on that? It's basically your committee report.
That's my committee. Thank you.
One other thing I wanted to ask Steve, or any other questions for the town administrator on his report at all? So one of the do-outs from last week, it was just that you forwarded a letter of continued support to the Mills Scenic
Yep.
Byway.
Yeah,
Taken care of?
I got a letter yesterday for the information.
Okay.
So, yeah.
So you're on it. Anything else, town administrator? Committee reports. Anything else to add to your committee report, Counselor Pike? All right. Other committees? Quiet time as we head to the election. Old business. I'll accept a motion on Resolution 2015-16-34 to authorize the town administrator to enter into a general services agreement with Underwood Engineers for general engineering services.
So moved.
Is there a second?
Second.
Discussion. Do you have anything to
I'm
propose?
going to ask Finance Director.
Good evening. We conducted an RFP looking for an engineering firm to act as if they're the town's engineer. So it would be like as if they're on staff. This would mean we could go to them to, say, engineer drainage on New Road. We could also ask them to look at or conduct a particular contract for us as if they were the town engineer. And so what we did is we issued the RFP. We got 6 different responses. We interviewed 2 firms, and we selected Underwood, mainly because they've done a majority of the work in the past, and we think that they would be efficient going forward.
We're recommending a 1-year agreement as a, sort of as a trial basis, see how it works. At that time, we'll review it and then come back to the council either to extend it or we'll go out for RFP and try to get another firm. I will tell you that the 2 we interviewed were excellent. It was very difficult to make the decision. And while a big factor was that they've done previous work with us, it was also, we wanted to make sure that they were going to spend a significant time with us. That it wasn't going to be something, and who were we going to be working with? We didn't want a junior partner. We thought it was very important that we get somebody of a senior level that could help us. The way I look at this is going to be similar to our relationship with the town attorney, that while it's a firm that we contract with, we have one individual we go to, we ask questions, and we can run things by them. So that is where we got this, and if any questions, I'll probably have Matt answer, because I'm losing my voice again.
Counselor Levy.
Just a couple things. First of all, we're only going to pay them for work they do, correct? We're not going to be paying them a retainer like we do with illegal.
It's just for work that they perform.
Okay. So, was there any reason that there was no backup as to what was the rate we're paying per hour with Underwood versus Taiwan?
Actually, the rates were very comparable between the 2 firms.
Can we
Yeah, I can provide that for you.
But they're voting on it now.
Okay.
Why?
mean,
No,
I
I'm
mean-
just, with all due respect, you know, there was one little page here, it didn't really explain
Correct.
anything as, you know, as to how, it was like, we
Yep.
met, there was no pricing, there was no rationale, other than I mean, don't take this wrong, but if the predicate was, they worked with us before, we didn't even have to go through the process if it was just because they'd worked with us before. So that's just my take on that, but there's just no backup information.
Yep.
Frankly.
Real quick, I'll Councilor Weinstein say what she wants to say, and then I think I want to kind of pull the council about their feeling about that right there.
Well, I guess partly because there wasn't a whole lot of backup, but we had conversations about this before. And so I thought I would just clarify, I guess, that we're doing this for efficiency and hopefully to save money. Is that correct?
Correct, and also to make sure that projects are being done correctly. So we have one firm that we have, a firm of record, and also to assist with projects and for efficiency that way. Currently, we have staff who are being project managers that, in a town, if we had a hired town engineer, they would be in charge of. So that would be one of the things that we would ask for their assistance with. For example, stormwater planning reports and stormwater management plans. Some of these grants that we're getting for DOT projects that staff's doing, that we'd have them be reviewing for us. Perfect example, there's a lot of questions about the sidewalk project. They would be coming forward with a proposal and engineering that. So that's the kind of information we'd be doing.
So, I mean, both the councilors that spoke kind of alluded to it. Like personally, I would love to see how much have we spent annually on engineers over the last, say, 5 years, and compare that to what the rate would be. Like, there's a whole bunch of information, I think, that we could get to, like, make this decision based on facts, as opposed to basically just the ordinance itself, or the
Okay.
resolution.
One of the points I want to make about how much money we've spent on engineers in the past, I expect that we're going to spend more money on engineers because they're going to be more accessible. I'm gonna ask for engineering to be done before we put down pavement on roads to make sure that we've got the right depth underneath the streets. We have like an HVAC project that I want to do for town hall. So the other thing too is I want to make sure that you understand that the two firms, when we talk about them being comparable, the way I looked at Ty Bond is they had one person that we thought was very good in comparison to Underwood's ability to do engineering. And so if you look at Ty Bond, we'd have to go outside of the state for a lot of the expertise.
I don't want to go back and forth, but I guess my concern is way less between the comparison between the two, and more the comparison between like what we've been doing up to this point and how this is impacting the town. Is there any way we can push this to it? Like, are we in
Yeah,
some
we'll do a
pressing
third
need that we
reading.
can't
No, we'll do a third reading.
Okay.
And we'll have a complete packet done.
Sure.
Temperature of the council. Does the council have an issue with us pushing this to the
I
third
don't have an
reading?
issue.
No, but I would just to make it streamlined when we get there. You know, I know Ty Bond. I know a few of these guys, but I happen to know Ty Bond. They're one of the most respected engineering firms in the state. So as far as their horsepower to get stuff done, comparing them to Underwood, I think most people would find that they have plenty of horsepower. That used to be Appledore Engineering. And,
Appledore was bought out by Ty Bond.
well, I know that.
Yeah.
Because
Right, yeah.
I know the principle. But my point is, you know, when you say they have a partner at Underwood, they have a litany of very highly qualified engineers at Ty Bond. I mean, I don't know enough about Underwood, but I would think Ty Bond was one of the more astute and well-respected engineering firms in the state. So to imply that they don't have enough senior management, or wouldn't give us senior management to help us.
No, I don't want
Can't
the
even imagine.
council to think that we think that They're not a good firm. They're a very, very good firm. They have really good management.
Well, the comment was made that we could get a senior person from Underwood, but, not necessarily with Ty.
With Ty Bond, they have one municipal engineer for New Hampshire. And to go beyond that one person, they would have to bring in people from their satellite offices outside of the state.
So we'll push it to a third reading. If councilors have specific questions they want answered by the third reading, when do you need them by?
Tuesday?
The election day.
Yeah.
So Tuesday, March 8th.
And please email them so I can have a specific question.
What was the last point he just made as far as?
Ty Bond has one municipal engineer in the state of New Hampshire as opposed to.
Yeah, I don't have a specific question, but if I can just sort of,
Yeah.
What I think I'm understanding is this is not about saving money. I mean, from a personal standpoint, working with the dam committee, I think having engineering expertise within this town that we sort of on a more regular basis reach out to when we're facing some of these questions may be useful. I think we're dominated with. We have non-engineering people within the town, and we are the amount of expertise we have on the dam committee is really impressive. But there's not specifically somebody, except for one person that has engineering background. So I can see the value of it, and that seems to be what we're getting at here is that it sort of encourages the use of professional engineering more regularly up front, rather than exclusively relying on whoever happens to be volunteer from the town. That's what you're getting at, and not comparing it as savings versus what we've done in the past. So whatever the presentation that we're going to get from them has to sort of address, because it's really a two-stage question. One is, do we want to have that kind of engineer? We've talked about it. It seemed like a general good idea to me, but maybe we want a real tight discussion around that. And then after you've decided that you want that kind of relationship with somebody, then there's a question between the two engineering services. That's a separate question.
I think that's a really good point, Councilor Pike. But I would love, I'm sorry, do other councilors have comments? I mean, I would love to see if we're looking at it, because it's a value question, right? Like, if it's going to cost more to us as a municipality, I'd like to see some historical data as to where the lack of one on retainer has been a damage to our community.
I think
I'm not saying right now. I'm saying in the
quantify,
backup.
yeah.
Saying in the backup. Like, have we had to go back and do things again? Have we had to, I just want to make sure that we're approaching this. I mean, it sounds like a great idea, but if it's going to cost us more money, I'd like to know where the value is being added.
We want to know how much more money in it.
Yeah, I certainly would want to know that.
Well, can I say one, Steve, are you going to
No,
comment?
no.
Just by definition, between the EPA mandates for stormwater alone is going to be a significant amount. The real question, from my perspective, is, like a law firm, I mean, we don't have any problem in general getting engineers to help us. So by definition, I think with what we have facing us between, whether it's the dam, and we've already hired, I think, someone for the dam, but between the dam and between the stormwater and some of the other things we're going to be doing, we're going to be using more engineers. The real question is, if we hired one firm versus another, would it really preclude us from getting someone to take care of us? I mean, my sense is having someone on retainer makes it convenient and easier to just pick up the phone, hey, how are you? But I don't think we're going to have any problem in general getting an engineering firm to help us. I think to give someone our sole contract, so to speak, or to give them all of our business, or as much as their firm can maintain and they have the expertise to handle, we should be getting a really good rate. Because we're going to, if an engineer is charging you, I'm just making up a number, $80, $100 an hour, $125 an hour, and we're not going to get a significant discount like we did with DTC, then I would question, like I'd like to see in what you give us, what's their normal rate, if I called up or the town called up and said, hey, I need, actually, if the town called up, because I think they'd give a pretty good price for municipalities in general, most of the firms, how much more did they discount it to get all the business? Those are the things, because that's the value. I don't think the town has a problem getting a competent engineer to help us when we need help. Unless I'm wrong, Steve, have you ever had a problem getting somebody to do work for us?
No.
So, I think some of those things are,
Yeah, but no, just to respond to that a little bit, I mean, I think sometimes, and maybe this is fine, but sometimes you find yourself in a situation where, as a dam committee, we were evaluating with several engineering firms come in. So if you have somebody on retainer, you have an engineer that would be in a position to help you evaluate engineering proposals, and that would seem valuable to me in that sense. Maybe it's not unnecessary, but perhaps that's a value.
well, that's another, that's another,
Yeah,
Gonna have
to
to-
go with what Council
that-
Pike said. It's very similar to, there are gonna be lawsuits that the town's involved in, that the town attorney can't handle. So what we would do is contract out with another firm, same situation. And as Council Pike said, they would help us review the proposed issues. Like, that was one of the things we were looking at for, gosh, I'm sorry, I'm blanking on the project we just had, that there was a question on engineering.
Not the dam.
No, I think it was a water or wastewater, it was something from Sean. And we wish we had an engineer who could review the plan before we went.
The mixing plant, was it?
Yeah, I think it was the mixing, thank you. And we wish we had an engineer that we could say, hey, look, do you mind just reviewing this real quick? And that's the kind of situation we're looking for.
and you
Not,
could do that. You could,
yeah, we could, but the town should have a firm of record.
you'd be more prone to do it if you have
So
something.
we have a firm, because, and then also, one, you're not giving it to, you're using it, we have one firm, we can see how much we're using it for, instead of going to multiple different firms. We have one that can know what other projects are going on in town to say, if we're gonna pave this road, I also know that water and sewer is doing this coming up. Let's make sure we talk to, and get that on one page. It's,
I'm sorry.
No,
you're
that's
still
fine.
talking. Go ahead.
no, I'm done.
Okay. So right now, the way we operate, if you need to go talk to an engineering firm, you have to come to the council to enter the contract, right?
If it's over what I can expend, yes.
So you
And-
still, you'll still have to come to us for the expenditure if it's over, right?
Right,
So this doesn't change in any way, shape, or form the amount of oversight the council has?
no,
So it's like, it's not gonna all of a sudden give you free rein to?
No.
No offense.
no,
That's
no,
all right.
no, what it's gonna do is just, the council's approving, that they know that, and one, I wanna make sure people know, we do have this money in the budget. Every department, the three departments have money for engineering. And all I'm saying is consolidate that, have one engineer firm of record. So like if the planning board we know who the planning board's gonna go to if they have a plan review. They do, I mean, they tend to go to Underwood Engineer at this point in time. If Sean has a question, who do they go to for, we're not talking these huge wastewater plant projects, but smaller, how to engineer certain things. It's the one firm we can go to. And Rick, like I said, use it for designing roads and also assist it with the maintenance, in the road maintenance programs, so. But we can postpone this for the next meeting.
The last thing I would just mention very briefly is, and I appreciate the fact that they've done a lot of engineering for the town, Underwood, but, and I hear this from a lot of professionals, when the town makes a decision predicated on the fact that they've worked with the town a lot and they know the town, what happens is this list of 6 or 5 people that have bid the next time we go out, will become shorter and shorter because people won't waste their time. So, that as a major predicate for the rationale to go with them, would beg to ask, well, why are we gonna make 5 guys come in and bid when there's that? I think some of these firms might perceive that as a bias. So I'm just mentioning that because they do have to put a lot
I
of.
just want to clarify this, because I want to make sure, this is process. There was no bias going into this. We we actually debated this for a long time who we were gonna pick. That's why we interviewed them in January. We took time checking references, going through our heads on what what projects we may have and why would it be the best fit. It was not easy, and it was not easy for the department heads that were in the interviewing committee. But again, we'll have all that back up at the next meeting.
Okay.
Thank you.
Councilor Weinstein.
Just a quick question about how the process would work. So you mentioned the wastewater treatment plant. So let's say we had that project coming up and we had this engineer of record. We would still bid out that
Oh,
project to
absolutely.
a different firm. So they don't necessarily get the next big project.
For example, this is more, I've got this small thing I need an engineer for. We know that the firm X is our engineer of record. Can you help us design it and come and review it to make sure we do it, put it the right way, that kind of expertise.
But then if we have a big project, they're also a second set of eyes.
Right, and for example, we don't have, the town attorney at the time was not the town attorney for the EPA case, because it was a specialized situation. But they knew what was going on, so they knew our liabilities that were out there. Because the same exact situation will happen here.
I can give a good example. We need to replace the lower part of the siding on the rec center and the police department. It would be nice if we could have an engineer walk around the building with us, because all we see is rot, and we know that it needs to be replaced. But we need a structural engineer to make sure that what the contractor is saying is truly in the best interest of the town, so we're not overspending for contractor services.
Would you bid out stormwater? Would you bid out the stormwater?
Stormwater probably, the plan, probably not. That's pretty, that's boilerplate right now. I mean, the plan is not the actual designing of certain things. It's just how are we gonna mitigate stormwater projects. But again, we're not there yet. I mean, that's gonna be, once we get more into it, we'll figure that out. But again, we'll get that back up.
Good, yeah, so reiterate, by next Tuesday, close the business, give the town administrator any questions you have, or data you want to see in the backup. Yes.
Yep.
Thanks. Thank you very much, Mr. Angel. New business correspondence, town council to consider nominations, appointments, and elections. Are these two dam studies competing against each other, or is it, there's two people for the dam?
No,
Are there two
they're just
vacancies?
the reappointments.
All right.
So they're both on there now?
Yeah.
So I'll accept a nomination for the first individual, Peter.
Make a motion for Peter Wellenberger for the dam, I want to make sure I get this right. For the McAllen Dam Committee, and it is for a 3-year term, I believe?
1 year term.
Oh, I'm sorry, they wrote, sorry, for a 1-year term, ending March 2017.
Is there a second?
Second.
Discussion. Seeing none, Mr. Administrator, the vote.
Counselor Burns.
Aye.
Counselor Pickering.
Aye.
Counselor Pike.
Aye.
Counselor Weinstein.
Aye.
Counselor Levy.
Aye.
Counselor Nazaro.
Aye.
Motion passes 6-0.
Is there a motion on, sorry, I guess I should have read this before. Is there a motion for the McAllen Dam Study Committee for John Diesel, 1-year term to expire 2017?
Mr. Moderator, Mr. Chairman, excuse me.
Yes.
I'd like to nominate John Diesel to this position that expires in March of 2017.
Councilor Pickering, thank you. Is there a second?
Second.
Is there discussion?
Yeah, they should fix that to a 1-year term.
Yeah.
Because it
Actual
says
paperwork.
3-year term. That's why I was confused with Peter. Why are they doing 1 year, Steve? Because they think it's going to be over by then?
We just don't know how long the committee's going to be.
Okay, thank you. So you'll just put in 1-year term?
Yeah.
Any other discussion? Seeing none, Mr. Administrator, the vote.
Counselor Burns.
Aye.
Counselor Pickering.
Aye.
Counselor Pike.
Aye.
Counselor Weinstein.
Aye.
Counselor Levy.
Aye.
Counselor Nazaro.
Aye.
Motion passes 6-0.
Accept a notion for Chris Hawkins to the ZBA for a 3-year term to expire March 2019. Yeah.
So moved.
Is there a second?
Second.
Any discussion? Seeing none, Mr. Administrator, the vote.
Counselor Burns.
Aye.
Counselor Pickering.
Aye.
Counselor Pike.
Aye.
Counselor Weinstein.
Aye.
Counselor Levy.
Aye.
Counselor Nazaro.
Aye.
Motion passes 6-0.
Resolutions and ordinances in the first reading. I'm going to ask the council that I just read this by title only, given there's like 50 different numbers in here. That good with everyone?
Yeah.
Resolution 2015-16-35, amending the town personnel plan to include the salary schedule. First reading on March 2nd, 2016. I encourage the people watching at home to go onto the website and take a look at read through that entirely. And if people would permit me, it would be great for backup to see what the current ordinance looks like, see what those ranges actually look like today, a resolution.
Yeah.
I don't want to discuss it, but can I ask for Steve to give us a couple of answers to questions for the packet next time, or do you want?
Yeah, sure, just go for it.
I just made a note on the side. How much are all of these increases going to cost the town? Some of them were over 30%, and I was going, actually, one of them was 42% from the lowest minimum to the highest. You know, in other words, minimum pay might have been 16 and the high would be 24 or whatever. Can we see the hours for each of these positions and which ones where overtime would be applicable? Because there's a lot of positions listed here and the
I
significant.
can answer the last one real quick.
Yeah.
If it's Xed with a non-exempt,
If it's Xed with a non-exempt.
they're non-exempt, then they're eligible for overtime. If they're exempt, then they're not eligible for overtime.
Salary employee versus hourly.
Yep.
Okay, but is there a chance that you could let us know roughly what the overtime is for the different positions? Like how many overtime hours they get a year, or is that too much work?
Yeah, it's a shot in the dark, I mean, but we'll look at it.
Okay.
And I think some of this information was also in that presentation you got at your last meeting.
It was the $24,000
Yep.
difference.
Yeah, that's what I just want to know what the potential it might
And-
cost the town if some of these other positions start to get, turn
Yeah,
over and get
and-
filled.
I think that's why we
Well,
need to
wait,
see
yeah.
the comparison between the two. Any other questions people want the administrator to answer on this one? Awesome. The next council meeting is our organizational meeting, which is just swearing in on Monday, March 14th at what time?
6.
6 o'clock. Of our new councilor, or I guess the councilors, because Councilor Pike will be re-signed in, unless there's a mad write-in wishing to move him out.
Never know.
And then our next regular meeting is this is March 2nd, is March 16th at regular time. Closing comments by council. No do-outs from this meeting? Seeing none, I will entertain a motion to adjourn.
Motion to adjourn.
Is there a second?
Second.
There we go, Councilor Vickery. This meeting's adjourned at 7:48.